I just want to die. That's what I want. I want to die. That's what I want to do. I want to crash out right now and just like this like life. I swear to God.
YK Osiris went on a trip to Jamaica in 2013, and people say Diddy paid for it. YK has never denied those claims. Now, 12 years later, YK Osiris is finally opening up about what really happened, and he says Diddy is a big reason why he wants to quit the music industry. Some dark secrets and disturbing videos are coming out, and even 50 Cent didn't see this one coming. What Diddy allegedly did to YK during that trip is shocking.
Envy Barbara, tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors, right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh shit!
Right?
Wait, so this is
so Charlamagne said
it's not true, but I told after he brought up this stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you.
Oh no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
What you gonna say to him, Phil?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami. You know it was in Miami. Yo, look, that's what James Cruz used to say all the time. Miami. He's like, Miami. I'm like, what you talking about, Miami? What happened in Miami?
Play the audio.
Yeah, I'm just 50.
Back in 2013, YK Osiris was sharing pictures from his trip to Jamaica. He looked like he was having a great time, drinking in the pool, getting fancy massages, and staying at a luxury resort. At the same time, Diddy was also in Jamaica, but he didn't post anything. What makes this strange is that just a few weeks before the trip, YK was crying on Instagram Live, saying he was broke and selling everything he had.
Yes, man. I sold my Lamborghini. I sold my Rolls Royce. I sold my Cadillacs. Yes, sir, ski. Yes, sir, ski. Ride that thing. Hey, I'm about to beat that charger. Ain't gonna lie. This thing gonna be itself. I ain't gonna cap to you. I got a floss for you, nigga. God, I ain't got a floss for you, nigga, man. If y'all gonna think what y'all wanna think. If I do got it, don't got it. Y'all gonna think what y'all wanna think. I love this Honda.
Throughout the trip, YK Osiris kept tagging Diddy in his posts and stories. People started asking how someone who was broke just days ago could suddenly afford a trip to a 5-star resort. One fan even commented, "The moment I didn't see a woman or even a hint of family, I knew exactly what I was watching. A man sponsored that trip," and said, "People forgot that it was just Diddy and YK Osiris on that Jamaica trip." Diddy's the type to fly someone out like that. For years, there have been rumors that YK let Diddy take advantage of him in exchange for help paying off his debts. From the beginning of his career, YK Osiris has struggled with money and loans. If you look closely, you'll see there's a reason he didn't hide his connection to Diddy during that trip. People say it was all part of a public humiliation ritual. Diddy reportedly wanted others to know what was happening between them, and this wouldn't be the first time YK Osiris has been forced to embarrass himself online.
They always want you to, you know what these rappers, all these singers, all these big rappers y'all look up to? They always tell you what the good part about, but they never tell you what the bad part. And that's crazy, man. Yeah, they got all this money, but they dealing with emo spirits. They dealing with killing themselves. They dealing with, man, come on, man. Like, dude, like, y'all don't understand, my nigga. Stop saying that it's a God blessing. This is not from God. This is not from God. Business, and I'll be honest with you, bro. I want to get out this music industry because this is not for me. But I do it because I feed my family. But I don't want to be in this. This is not what God want me to do. God don't want me to do this. But I do it to feed my family. I want to get out this. I want to get out of the music industry because yes, you go through pain. You go through this because this is what the devil wants you to go through to destroy yourself. The devil wants you to go through this to destroy yourself. But y'all wouldn't understand because y'all not really, You know, some of y'all, you know, I understand that y'all not really hooked on to it, but this is not what the God wants you to do.
If you look deeper into the situation, Drake's name also comes up. At one point, Drake embarrassed YK Osiris by posting about him on Instagram, saying YK owed him money. Drake even made YK sing for him and shared it publicly, which made a lot of people uncomfortable. But Drake wasn't the only one treating YK this way. Strangely, YK also got a tattoo of Drake's album on his leg and even got a haircut to match the certified lover boy theme. Fans started questioning why a grown man would let himself be embarrassed and literally branded with another man's image. Was it just for attention, or was something else going on?
I don't owe you no more. I don't owe you no more.
You owe me 60 bands, and you have to perform the song right now in the crib. What are we talking about? What are you talking about? I'm giving you an out. I'm not Baby. I'm not Boosie. You don't owe me no 2 rags, 5 rags. You owe me 60 bands. I'm playing the song right now. You ready? I need a full. You don't owe me no money right now. I swear. I need a full performance though. The real shit though. I'm serious.
You just got it,
After this, YK was crying.
Later on, YK was seen crying, saying that Drake doesn't talk to him anymore and had completely cut him off. This made fans wonder, was YK doing all of this just for money? Many now believe that Diddy also took advantage of YK when he was most. They like them young because they're naive, easy to influence, easy to manipulate. But YK is going to make it. We're praying for him. I see something pure in his spirit, and the Father takes care of his children. He felt alone and helpless, but may God protect him and let the truth set him free. This is exactly what actor Terrence Howard was warning about, how dark and twisted Hollywood can be. He once said the entertainment industry forces people to sell their pride and manhood just to succeed. According to him, once someone agrees to those deals, the emotional damage never goes away. What's the point of being rich or famous if you have to give up your self-respect to get there?
You got to take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far. You know, who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card.
This kind of abuse doesn't only happen to one person. Even Justin Bieber and Usher were exposed to it. Young male artists are often targeted. They're groomed, used, and when the trauma becomes too much, they turn to drugs and alcohol to cope. That's why so many of them end up quitting the industry altogether. Justin, YK, Osiris, Aaron Carter, they all distance themselves from music for the same reason.
You see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here is men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
It's the same story over and over. Just like YK, Justin Bieber also tried to deny the rumors at first. But the pain and shame of what they've been through still haunts them. After months of speculation about his connection to Diddy, Justin finally broke his silence. His rep told Entertainment Tonight, although Justin isn't one of Diddy's victims, there are real people who were harmed by him. This came as old videos of Diddy and underage Justin resurfaced, just as Diddy was making headlines for being indicted on serious charges like sex trafficking and racketeering, which he denies.
Justin Bieber breaking his silence on the ordeal after months of speculation over their one-time relationship. His rep telling ET, although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. Bieber's questionable connection to Diddy piquing interest online as the rap mogul's indictment for sex trafficking and racketeering charges, which he denies, made headlines. Old clips of the two hanging out while Justin was underage resurfacing.
Let's just go get some girls. Let's go get some girls.
Man after my heart, that's what I'm talking about. We hit him like this, so me and you walking, we hanging out, a little later on the night after the Usher concert.
There's also this old Jimmy Kimmel Live segment, adding to fan fears about what might have gone down with Diddy.
Got me a Lamborghini. It's,
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Oh, apparently not.
Some things, everything ain't for everybody.
This all comes as Bieber's followers are worried for him, the singer's erratic social media posts causing concern week after week, the believers asking if what he's seen behind the scenes of the industry.
The person who spoke out is Dawn Richard from the girl group Donity Kane, a group Diddy created. She testified in court, saying Diddy sexually harassed her and other group members. He allegedly made her strip to her underwear during rehearsals, smacked her on the butt, and even held meetings while wearing just his underwear. She also said that while she was part of Diddy Dirty Money, she witnessed him physically abuse singer Cassie. One time, he threw her to the ground, kicked at her, and later dragged her upstairs. Then Dawn heard glass breaking. She said, "I was scared for her. I was scared to do anything." She also filed a lawsuit against Diddy for years of abuse, saying he touched her without permission, forced her to strip, made awful comments about her body, and barged into her dressing room while she was undressed.
Richard joined Combs' group Diddy Dirty Money after Danity Kane disbanded. While on the stand, she told jurors that she saw Combs hit Ventura with a skillet full of eggs at his Los Angeles home in 2009. Richard testified per NBC News. He came downstairs asking where his phone was, and he threw her to the ground. He attempted to kick her. She fell to the ground and went into the fetal position, literally trying to hide her head. In addition to striking Ventura with the skillet, Richard said Combs put his arm around the singer's neck and took her upstairs before she heard glass breaking. Richard added, "I was scared for her. I was scared to do anything." Richard's testimony in Combs' ongoing trial comes 8 months after she accused the rapper in a lawsuit of subjecting her to years of inhumane working conditions, which included groping, assault, and false imprisonment. The lawsuit, filed in September, obtained by E! News, stated, Mr. Combs frequently held meetings with Ms. Richard wearing only his underwear, despite Ms. Richard's protests and repeated requests for him to put on clothing. In her filing, the 41-year-old also alleged that Combs ordered her to strip down to her underwear, made demeaning remarks about her body, and entered her dressing room unannounced while she was unclothed, and touched her without her permission.
Lead defense attorney Mark Agnifilo is cross-examining Carrie Morgan. She's the former best friend of Cassie Ventura, who spent a lot of time with the couple when they were together between 2008 and 2018, when she stopped speaking with Cassie. Now, they just got into questions about an alleged 2018 attack where she says Diddy grabbed her by the throat from behind and, in her words, boomeranged a wooden hanger at her head. After the incident, she said she considered filing a lawsuit, but sat down having a conversation with Cassie, and it was her understanding, she testified, that she was going to be paid $30,000, which she accepted, in order to not go to the police, not file a lawsuit, and sign an NDA to not speak about it. Now, Agnifilo wanted to try to establish that the money came from Cassie, but on direct and on cross-examination, in answer to that question, Carrie said it was her understanding that that money was going through Cassie, but being paid to her by Diddy. Now, elsewhere in her testimony, she spoke to the jury about violence that she witnessed at the hands of Diddy, and going toward Cassie specifically, certain events stuck out in her mind, like an incident in Jamaica where the girls said that they were scared and ended up hiding in a ditch for some time. She was also at Cassie's apartment after the 2016 Intercontinental Hallway attack. She said that that police were called. She wasn't exactly sure who called them. She didn't remember that. Cassie testified that it was Morgan who did call police, but that Ventura was completely uncooperative with them, wouldn't answer their questions. But Morgan did say during her testimony on direct and on cross that the police who came to the scene were aware of Ventura's black eyes at the time because they had asked what happened, despite the fact that she would not answer.
According to many sources, Diddy had a habit of assaulting people who worked under him. In return for sexual favors, he would offer career help or financial support. YK Osiris was in a desperate situation, and Diddy knew it.
On the stand, she said that guys would climax on her and she would take the cum and rub it on Diddy's nipples. Was this happening in your sessions?
Well, so it is an assumption, right? So, obviously with the veil, there was a very deliberate attempt to hide his identity.
Yeah.
So they never had any interactions or even any outward conversation in my presence. So there was a routine where sometimes we'll be right in the middle of sex and he'll just stand up and walk out of the room. And she would take that cue and she would follow him out. So I did recognize, and I mentioned it in my book, that it became a habit that we're having sex on couches with sheets. We started in towels. I would climax, but she would specifically leave the room without wiping herself, without doing anything to take care of the whatever I left on her. So I assumed that's when he popped up, because once I climbed up, he popped up, he left the room, she popped up, she followed him. So I'm assuming that's when the lathering, whatever went on, happened at that point.
Okay, so at what point did he stop wearing a veil?
It was shortly after. The way that I ended up finding out who he was and they were, because obviously in conjunction with each other, About the 5th time, we were in a hotel called the Essex House. And when I would arrive for the sessions, I would be waiting around a couple of hours. So in this specific time, they put me into an extra room in a hotel suite. And to kill time, I decided to watch TV. And this specific hotel had a welcome message, which was, so when I cut on the TV, it specifically said, Essex House would like to welcome Mr. Sean Combs.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa, like I was blown away, man.
Right.
One of the victims testifying in Diddy's trial, Jane has submitted text messages from Diddy as evidence. In these text messages, Diddy is heard threatening Jane if she doesn't agree to the freak-off. Diddy didn't care what Jane was going through, and allegedly at one point, Jane even started crying. But Diddy told her to keep going.
It's Diddy Day 19, and the drama is reaching a fever pitch here in this downtown Manhattan courtroom as one of Diddy's exes dropped new bombshells. Wiping away tears from her eyes, she testified she begged Diddy to stop the freak-offs, texting, "I'm not a porn star, I'm not an animal." A social media influencer and Diddy's girlfriend from 2021 to 2024, she used the pseudonym Jane on the stand. She alleged Diddy coerced her into days-long sex parties with male escorts. Text messages from 2023 introduced today in court reveal just how badly Jane wanted out. "I don't want to be used and locked in a room to perform and fulfill your fantasies. I'm coming to the realization of what this really is. My heart is really in this, and it's breaking. I don't want to play this role in your life anymore." In one of the more dramatic moments, Jane testified that when Cassie's 2023 lawsuit became public, she fainted. She said when she read 3 pages that echoed her own experience with Diddy, it, quote, felt like a nightmare.
Jane's testimony is emotional, but I also say naturally emotional. Sometimes you have witnesses who will testify and get emotional at awkward points in their testimony, but Jane seems very authentic, and that helps her credibility in terms of what she's testifying to.
ABC News legal contributor, attorney, and host of Bad Rap, the case against Diddy, Brian Buckmeyer was in the courtroom.
The Sean Combs of last week and the Sean Combs of this week does seem slightly different in his demeanor. He doesn't seem to be actively engaging in, let's say, body language or communication with the jury. It could be because of this witness or that he knows they're on the verge of cross-examination, potentially starting tomorrow morning, so not as much vigorous head nodding.
And there's more news about Diddy's freak-offs. Sean Deering, a male escort mentioned in court, is speaking with People about his time with Cassie at those sex parties. Sean said he was hired more than a dozen times, starting in late 2014 or early 2015, and the tone changed. I just would say overall, the tone was a little darker towards the last time I'd seen them. It was more of a doing this to please him type of spirit overall. I can tell when the energy was different.
Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend is giving more graphic and emotional testimony. The woman known to the jury as Jane is testifying about a pattern of being pressured into sex acts with multiple strangers while Combs watched. She's even testified to vomiting in the middle of one of these so-called hotel nights, saying Combs responded, "Good, you'll feel better now," and prompted her to continue. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his defense team says any sexual encounters were consensual. ABC's Rena Roy and legal contributor and criminal defense attorney Shauna Lloyd are outside that courthouse with more. Rena, what's the latest?
Well, Diane, Jane has told the jury that whenever she tried to resist having sex with other men, that Sean Combs sort of had a pattern of behavior that included things like persistency and love bombing. At this point, the jury has seen a lot of text messages between Jane and Sean Combs. One where Jane says, "I'm not trying to have sex with strangers to fulfill your fetishes," and Combs tells her, "You got it all wrong."
This trial isn't just about Diddy. It's about a whole system behind him. Prosecutors say he wasn't acting alone, he had help. So far, only one person has been officially named, his chief of staff, Kristen Coram. Some are comparing her role to Ghislaine Maxwell's, the woman who helped Jeffrey Epstein. They found proof on Coram's phone showing Diddy paid bribes to destroy evidence of his crimes.
Christina Korm, please report to the front. But y'all know I reported the other day that Christina Korm was named as a co-conspirator in the Diddy trial. Y'all know me. I like to try to drop court doc evidence when I am talking about something, and I was finally able to find a piece of the transcript where they named Christina Korm as a co-conspirator, so let me show you. I'm absolutely shocked that a lot of the mainstream media are not covering this because this is the first co-conspirator that has been confirmed by the federal government. Like, where y'all at? Government was actually playing this very funny. They were playing no games when they name dropped Christina Quorum as a co-conspirator. They were arguing with Diddy's team about a text message that they wanted to show to the jury that Cassie Ventura sent to Christina Quorum talking about Brianna Bongolan being hung over the balcony. They were listing all of the reasons why they thought that this text message should be used as evidence to be shown to the jury. One of their many reasonings was because they thought that it was a state of mind evidence. They said it was important here to think that Miss Ventura is expressing fear of Mr. Combs to Christina Quorum, who is an agent and a co-conspirator of Mr. Combs. It's not confirmed in court that Christina Quorum will for sure testify against Diddy, but we can assume by the amount of evidence that they have on Christina Quorum, including confiscating her cell phone that has evidence on it, that she's probably gonna flip. She will be given some type of deal if she does flip. That way she's not risking doing life in prison if Diddy goes down for RICO. Because if one goes down, the whole enterprise that you're connected to goes down unless you start speaking up.
Even the hotel staff where some of these incidents happened were involved. Eddie Garcia, the head of hotel security, testified that Diddy and Christian pressured him into signing an NDA. They offered $100,000, split between the security team, in exchange for deleting the security footage of Diddy assaulting Cassie.
Today, the jurors in his trial heard from a former security supervisor at that hotel. His name is Eddie Garcia, and he testified that not long after the attack happened, Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Quorum, called him to ask for the footage. He said that he told her no on the phone. And again, when she showed up in the lobby, said he told her no again. But that night, Garcia testified, Christina Quorum called him again. And this time, she handed the phone to Diddy. Garcia told the jury in Combs' federal trial that Puff said if that video ever got out, it would ruin his career. He testified that Diddy promised to, quote, take care of him if he could only find a way to get that video. And so, Eddie Garcia, who was promised immunity to tell the truth in court, reached out to his boss, who agreed to sell the video for $50,000. And the following day, Garcia brought a USB drive with that video to a meeting, he said included Diddy, that chief of staff, Christina Quorum, and one of Diddy's bodyguards. But before handing over that little USB stick, Garcia said he told Diddy he was worried. He was concerned he might be implicated in a crime if Cassie Ventura ever called the police and complained. At which point, according to Garcia, Diddy had a plan. FaceTimed Cassie and ordered her to, quote, tell him you wanted this too, Cassie. A freshly beaten up Cassie was there on the FaceTime wearing a hoodie and complied with Diddy's demand, Eddie testified. He then said he signed a contract swearing that no other copy of the video existed and swearing him to silence with $1 million penalty if he ever spoke of what he saw or of what he did, i.e. the payoff. In return, Garcia says he was handed a bag containing $100,000, double the amount that Garcia's boss had asked for.
For the Sean Combs trial, his defense attorneys asked the judge to declare a mistrial in a late-night filing alleging prosecutorial misconduct. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky at the courthouse. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning to you, George. Federal prosecutors, according to the defense, knowingly introduced false testimony that Sean Combs dangled a woman from a 17th floor balcony. It was Brianna Bongolan, a friend of Cassie Ventura, who told the jury that he lifted me up, then put me on top of the rail before throwing her onto furniture. The jury saw photos of a large bruise and her bandaged back. Combs denied it happened, and the defense argued hotel receipts show he was in New York at the time. The judge, though, is unlikely to grant the mistrial mistrial, and a fifth week of testimony is going to begin here this morning with Combs' ex-girlfriend, known by the pseudonym Jane, back on the witness stand. She's already tearfully told the jury grueling details of degrading sex with male prostitutes and how she feared if she stopped, Combs would stop paying her rent. Combs denies it all, says all the sex was consensual, and got
From YK Osiris to Justin Bieber, from Terrence Howard to victims like Jane, too many voices are finally speaking up. What happened in Jamaica wasn't just a vacation. It was a warning sign, a look into a dark industry that targets the weak, publicly humiliates them, and then tosses them aside when they break. Now, the truth is coming out, and Diddy's empire may be falling apart one piece at a time. So the real question is, how many more stories like YK's are still hidden? And when will the music industry stop ignoring the truth? Stay tuned. Stay questioning. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want more real stories the mainstream won't show you.